you connected to the Wi-Fi?
It'll depend on that, Tony. Which one?
Is it wrong? Okay.
529. Oh, that's not too bad. Usually it stops.
11 o'clock in my house, that's the match I figured out the other day. All right, it's 5:30. Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. We've got 4 ordinances we need to look at today, and we'll start with Dawn's 3.
Can you speak up just a little bit, please?
I'm going to.
Okay, thank you.
Ordinance 2025 be it enacted by the Forum Court of Marion County, Arkansas, and ordinance to be entitled Ordinance amending Ordinance 2024-61 Budget and Numbers and Compensation Ordinance for the calendar year of 2025. Article 1, as the clerk submitted the jury reimbursement to state for the fourth quarter of 2024 and received a reimbursement of $676.21 and deposited such with the treasurer. The money needs to be appropriated into the jury and witness category. Therefore, the treasurer is ordered to raise the anticipated revenue in county general by $676.21. Article 2, the comptroller is ordered to appropriate the money as follows. Jury and witness 1000-0405-3021 postage, $676.21 to add. I'm not going to go ahead and read Article 3. May I entertain a motion?
Motion.
May I entertain a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right. The second one, and I'm not going to go into the great detail of numbers unless anybody would like me to. Be it enacted by the Forum Court of Marion County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance amending the annual operating budget for the office of the Marion County and Circuit Clerk Numbers and Compensation Ordinance 2023-149. Section 1, the amendment will modify the current appropriated budget and the numbers and compensation portion of Ordinance 2024-61 for 2 deputies currently employed in the clerk's office. Has everybody read this thoroughly?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. May I entertain a motion?
Motion.
May I entertain a second? May I entertain a second?
Yes, I'll second. Sorry.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Same sign for no.
Aye.
Aye.
Excuse me. I didn't hear, I'm sorry, my allergies are killing me.
Wester voted yea. Wester voted yea. Other 4 voted no.
Well, what I'm trying to find out is if this is going to be sent into, or to the Forum Court itself. Okay,
Pass.
thank you.
The third one, excuse me, be it enacted by the Forum Court of Marion County, Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled Amendment to the Annual Operating Budget and Numbers and Compensation Ordinance 2024-61 for the calendar year 2025 to appropriate funds from Fund 1007 Local Assistance and Tribal Consistency to 1007-0102 Recorder's Fund Immediate Conversion in the amount of $75,661.83. I'm going to go ahead and read this one fully. Section 1, this board affirms the use of funds for the Marion County Clerk's Office for the completion of post-processing and importing of 170 land record books scanned in 2023. This will include scanning, processing, and importing importing 14 more books, indexing and importing all records into the Fibula Avid/Laredo system. This project will complete the project started with the grant received in 2023 and create a 40-year search in our land record system. Section 2. The following is an amendment to the 2025 budget ordinance 2024-61 as follows. Appropriate from 1,000 local assistance and tribal consistency in the amount of $75,661.83. Appropriate to 1007-0102-3009 other professional services. Media conversion in the amount of $75,661.83. May I have a motion? May I have a second?
I'll second.
Discussion?
Don, has anybody else come forward on this with the money?
Not to my knowledge.
This is the same one we did.
Yes, and I reached out and asked if anybody else was going to do anything. I haven't heard anything. I do know that the judge is planning on a shooting range. I don't know for the amount of money though.
Greg and I are still, Sheriff Alexander and myself are still discussing that. We may table it till next year.
Well,
Not worried
it's
about
not
it,
gonna
but
be
we haven't got that far yet.
There-
It's just daily business being away.
plenty of money there. I included what the current. I think it was, let's see.
I thought
There's $460,119.08. I'm asking for 76,000.
Judge?
when you discussed it in court, did you all decide, was it June you wanted to see those by, or did you have a date set for that? I forget in that meeting if we came up with a time frame.
What was tabled?
Okay,
I don't believe we came up with a time frame
all right.
in that meeting. May I ask a question?
Certainly.
And I do not recall for the life of me, I tried going through my notes here. As the system sets, are we able to use it?
Not until we finish the indexing.
Okay,
That was going to be the second part of the grant. And I didn't receive the grant last year. And I know there was some discussion that, wait until you can apply for the grant. I can't guarantee I'm gonna get that money. And in the last 2 years, the amount of the grants have only been like 26,000 instead of this. This is guaranteed, and I can finish out what we started before the end of my term.
so as it sits right now, we've got money spent and we're not able to use it, correct?
It was through a grant, yes, and we did, I don't know, several hundred books, and this will just finish it all up for 40 years. And then if the next clerk wants to do this again, more power to them. But I would really appreciate your support. I'd like to get this taken care of. I've talked to the people that will do this, which is FIDLA. It's called something else, but that's basically what it is. And they could probably start the project within 6 weeks, and then completion of the indexing and everything else, because that's quite a big deal, probably by the end of the year. And that way it would be done.
Justice?
Dawn, have you applied for the grant yet?
Can't apply until October. I'm sorry, can't apply until August. And then it's not, decided on until October. But like I said, they're giving out more grants at a very small amount of money. And I didn't get it last year because more people are digitizing, more people are doing that, which is a great thing in this day and age. And, I got the grant for like 4 years in a row and bought scanners and did all that type of stuff in my office. And I don't need any of that right now. I'm trying to think of something I can apply for the grant for. But that grant will not be guaranteed that I'm gonna get enough money to finish this project.
Now, for future years on down the road, every year that is a reoccurring fee that we'll have to pay to keep up with that,
No, this is done.
even on the years coming to
Yes,
put those.
this will be done, it'll give us a full 40-year search. Okay, we can apply for a grant every year, but it will be for different things. And, for instance, we might need new scanners, we might need new computers, something along those lines. They're very heavily into asking for people, for the clerks to digitize their records, and that's what I'm trying to do. And we got a long ways with the first one, but I can't guarantee you I'm gonna get it again. There's 75 counties that are competing for this grant, or grants.
But that price is good from that day that they digitize them and back, years back. Not going
This
forward.
price is gonna complete the project. We will never have to pay for another, unless somebody else wants to come in and digitize further back. This will complete a 40-year search.
What about going forward though, like when we're in 2027?
We're already digitized. We're digitized from 98 forward on our computer. And so, like I said, this will complete the project that we started. Any other questions?
No other questions? Can we go ahead and take a vote? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Ordinance passed. And please excuse me, the next one's got a lot of writing on it. I feel like I need to, read through now. I'd like to ask you all to lay the foundation on the ordinance that are brought to us.
Sure. I don't know if everyone is
Can
familiar.
I go ahead and read through this, please?
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
then I'll ask you to speak.
Sure.
Thank you. Be enacted by the Foreign Court of Marion County, Arkansas, and ordinance to be entitled, an amendment to the annual operating budget and numbers and compensation ordinance 2024-61 for the calendar year 2025 to appropriate $80,000 from Fund 1005 Corona Relief Fund to support the School of New Hope Work Activities Center operations. Section 1, this appropriation ensures uninterrupted training, education, and transportation at the School of New Hope for Marion County adults with disabilities. Section 2, to offer therapies for developmental disabled adults to improve their abilities, promoting self-support and independence. Section 3, additional state funding is requested but not received. Funds are needed for regular operating expenses. Total loss in billable services for financial year 2025, $45,931. Section 4, funds requested for future expenses beyond general operations. Audit, $4,000 to $6,000. Annual general and vehicle insurance, $18,000. Direct mailer, $3,000. Roof and retaining wall repair, $18,000. Short-term expenses not covered by current building, $45,000. Section 5, allocate funds from the unappropriated reserves amounting to $80,000 as specified below. Appropriate from 1005 Corona Relief Fund in the amount of $80,000. Appropriate to LATC Grants in Aid 1005-0116-3108 School of New Hope. And please educate us on what we have to work together.
Is everybody familiar with the School of New Hope? I'd be glad to give a little bit of history. We were established in 1969 as a center that serves individuals with developmental disabilities. We have classroom activities where they train on different aspects of life skills. It can be anything from anything that they need. It could be clothing care to money management. We even have a couple of folks that are working on their driver's license. It's very wide range. And when they're not in class, we also have a ceramics program that if they are wanting to get to it, they can. But when they're not in a classroom, they are in the work activity area. And in that area, they are learning different work skills, whether it be interpersonal relationships, whether it be production or organization of their work area, just simply schedules, working until lunch or whatever. But they learn how to take corrective criticism and apply it. And while they're doing that training, we're able to pay them with a special wage certificate. So we're able to get that through the Department of Labor, and we are able to pay them by the piece or the pound. So whatever their production is, they get paid for that. It works really well. I don't know that we'll always have it because the Department of Labor would like to get rid of it, but it works really well. They simply get paid for what they do. And we have years on years of history that says most of our individuals, not all of them, but most of our individuals work at about a 25% reduction. So that particular piece really helps us. We're currently working on projects from Baxter Healthcare and also from microplastics. So anyway, that's pretty much us. We do provide transportation for them. Pick them up at their homes and take them. The reason that we have done this appropriation ordinance is we're usually funded through Medicaid mostly. We do have private donations. We have received help through the county. Y'all have been gracious to do that. But the majority of our monies come from billing Medicaid. So we were going along pretty well. And there's two different categories, Title 19 and Title 20 Medicaid. And our Title 20, we get an allocation at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the fiscal year. And if we use those monies before the end of the year, we have been able to apply and get more funding to finish the year out. This year, we weren't able to do that. We applied, and the reason for the denial was that it has to do with the way the funds are coming down from the federal government. The last budget resolution, I believe, had $880 billion for Medicaid. So that means that the state is really going to have to use their Medicaid monies carefully to cover all bases. So they were willing to give us that additional money, which ran us short because we had already budgeted our operations for the year. So that's where we're at.
Thank you. And before I take this to a motion, I have a correction in section 5. We're appropriating from 1005 coronavirus relief fund in the amount of $80,000. Appropriating to coronavirus relief fund 1005-0116-3108 School of New Hope in the amount of $80,000. May I entertain a motion? Motion. May I entertain a second?
I'll say.
Any discussion?
Do you have bills or estimates or paperwork to support all of these numbers?
The audit number came from calls that I made last year in order to get an audit. So I don't have them with me, but I can't get those. The annual general and vehicle insurance, that's based on what we paid last year, so I'll have that documentation. The mailer, that was just an estimate on, what was it, 200?
The same county-wide.
Doing countywide mailer. And the roofing and retaining wall, there's a story there. First of all, our retaining wall collapsed when it flooded. And just, we had talked about rebuilding the wall just ourselves, just doing it as we could. The material alone was gonna cost like $10,000. That's without any labor or anything, or any steel, because we got an estimate from the rock quarry, Shane Gaffney. And he estimated 100 loads of fill to go in there to complete what we need to do. Anyway, we really didn't have that kind of money to go forward. So we decided that we would just bank it and try to get it where we could mow it. And it's just every time it rains, it washes out. It's that, steep enough that it washes out. And so I don't really have an estimate, a written estimate on the wall. In the roof piece, we were on, I did get an estimate, but it was back 2021. It's a storm, and we were actually able to claim on insurance, but we got $18,000 to do the roof, and the estimate was 27. At that time, we were closed. We were closed for like 4.5 months because of COVID. So there just weren't the additional funds. And we had had that $18,000 setting in our donation and building account and added to it as we could so that we could replace the roof. Well, when all this came down, the money had to come from somewhere to go to operations. So we took those monies that we had allocated for our roof and other repairs, building maintenance, and things like that, and took care of our operational
I will say Tammy has not even been paying herself because we're running short on funds.
Would it be possible for us to get copies of the information that you have, that you just stated as far as the bills for the estimates?
I had Karen send Mrs. Dearborn an email yesterday asking about grant monies that she's reached out for and who she's contacted at the state levels. She let me know she reached out to Congressman Crawford's office and is waiting for a response, and then reached out to Senator Bozeman's office and still waiting for a response as well. I got a hold of some state senators and representatives today myself, trying to get some answers, because if this is happening, why they are freezing funds or not getting funds until they're done at the federal level, it can't just be us. So I asked some senators and some representatives looking into that, and some questions that came to here was one of the questions that Justice Lee had. I would like to see a list of the dime of the $80,000 that is needed. I would like to see a comprehensive list of how much money has been raised by other sources. I would like to see what are the sources of revenue they've had in the past, what happens today. And I believe at one time donations were allowed to receive water payments. Is that still an opportunity, or is this something to look back into? But I'd like to have those. I don't mind. I love what they do, and I want to keep those doors open. But any monies that we would give, I want it to be for the operation of the doors open, not for improvements, if we come to that level. But I'd like to see to the dime a list of where that money is going to go. But I do have people looking into other avenues as well.
What are the direct mailers? That's something I'm gonna get in my mailbox, or?
It's informing people that we exist and that we need donations. A lot of people don't even know we're there, and we've been there since 1969. And Judge, I think you were talking about water bills, but it was the county taxes.
Okay.
When those go out in March, since 1960s, we've been putting up mail out. We even used to stuff them, the people that are
So
out.
that's still happening.
And no, they didn't allow it this year, so we didn't get to do that. This is the first year. And
You say they,
Russo said it's against the law.
so they is Russo.
well, that's not who told us we couldn't do it, but that must be where it came down from.
That's what I think, Susan.
Yeah.
That's where they can do a voluntary tax. They can do an ordinance for a voluntary tax, but it's not gonna cover them right now.
Right.
Ordinance for a voluntary tax. but
Yeah.
It's illegal to send members.
Okay, so what they were doing was putting little pink slips in with your taxes, but you can't, you got a hold of Grant County. Grant County does it, and they have different, like 3 or 4 different things that you can pay voluntary taxes. It's on your tax statement, and it lists mandatory taxes, what your taxes are, and then voluntary, you can pay whatever amount suggested, more or less, whatever, and it's on everybody's tax statement.
So has it always been illegal to do it that way, or just became?
I don't know when it was, you know, how we are in this county, it's just like we do stuff until we're told it's wrong.
Up until 2023, I agree. But I'll sit down with Russo and I'll get clarification on that.
I mean, he's the one that said we need to do this, and that's where, we've got copies of the law. So they've got copies of the law, they've got copies of statements that other counties have done, a copy of the ordinance that has to be done.
So we need to go forward with this. How long have we got? I know it's serious right now.
It's,
If
how
you
quick can you get them the
get the estimates,
The estimates.
stuff like that.
so she gets these to you this week, the estimates of where the money's going?
You get them to us.
Yeah, I can put it on your duty.
How long have you taken for?
I was like, do we need to make a motion to table it until? Further down, till we get it? I mean, I don't know how often or how quickly you're gonna get a response from these senators and
Well,
representatives.
how long ago did you reach out to Rosemont and Congressman Crawford?
I've called a couple of times and emailed, last week.
I spoke to Fluco and Azarico today. I just got back yesterday when I saw the resolution. And I want to get some clarification on that because again, it can't just be happening to us. So what other avenues are other places, other schools, in different counties doing right now to stay afloat? I'm trying to get those answers as fast as I can.
Could it be something that's passed with the, I'm talking real estate, but contingent upon us getting blah, blah, and blah by a certain time?
I think we need to get more information on what other schools are doing. I would like to see it take until next March. And that gives us time to try and get more. Is it March gonna make it? I'm sorry. Is it March gonna make it is that a realistic goal?
Yeah, anyway, I got Azarico looking right now.
Okay.
I've been in contact with him all day talking about it. Yes. And by then we should have a list that shows what money's going.
So Tammy has talked to some of the other schools too, to see.
Yes, and probably the biggest factor in all of this is that we're so small. There are other centers, but a lot of them offer waiver services, and that's like this pot. These centers are, they're bringing in tens of millions of dollars a year. So if they have a cut in this one funding source, it's not going to affect them like it does us, because we're so small.
You guys not take waiver?
We do not do waiver. we could apply to do waiver, but it is very involved. And what, I have found personally with trying to, get, employees even at the school, it's very difficult to find someone that can work with our individuals. So to have people out in the community, they're living on their own, they need someone to take them to the doctor, they need someone, you know, I mean, we're talking about, you cover every service that the individual would need, from physical therapy to, you know, and you have to write a plan that encompasses their entire year. And I don't know if your life's a lot mine, but that never is a very good, you know, but.
If you have waiver, Arkansas Medicaid was split into passes, and then you have a pass, and every member has a care coordinator who comes along beside you and helps you write that plan.
Yes, but you have to supply the staff. You are correct, and.
I know, I work for Summit, so.
Yeah.
So I know the waiver process very well, so.
So I make a motion that we table this until next month, till we have more time to get the information and find out what other resources and what else is available.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
So what do you need from us, just to be clear?
We need, any invoices, like your general maintenance insurance. The judge, I believe, stated that she had a whole list of items that you'd like for us to see.
I'd like to see to the dime of the 80,000 being asked for, where it's gonna go, which I think is fair. And, I like to see a comprehensive list of money raised from other sources. And I know one source of revenue has been shut down by the government this time. Are there any more coming in at this time? And then I will check and sit down with Rousseau and go forward about the legalities of donations along with water payments. And I will stay on Flippo and as Rico to get the answers.
That's the last item on the agenda. May I have,
My motion to adjourn.
exactly.
Yes.
Seven.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes.
Yes.